Bye, Carla. We are here in Managua city in Nicaragua and met with Carla Fjeld from the United States, but she is now for a couple of years here in Managua. And
15 years.
15 years, and she started a beautiful restaurant, an organic restaurant and shop here in Las Colinas, is that right? And we asked her, what is your concept here on this place, please, Carla?
A lot of us are concerned about ecological sustainability and human health. And if we work just as individuals, we don't have as much power and as much influence as when we come together. So the idea of calling it Ola Verde was really to bring drops of water together and build something bigger, to get more recognition, more influence. And the influence that I want to have is in developing the market, a more sustainable, a more recognizable market for organic products. When I started my business 12 years ago, I named it Ola Verde, and I put in the logo deliciosamente saludable, which means deliciously healthy. And my friends, local friends, criticized me and said, Carla, that's suicide. You should not put the word healthy in there. Nobody cares. And so, you know, but things are evolving. But we think that consumer choices can mediate offers, ofertas. If more consumers want to buy organic and locally produced, sustainably produced products, there will be more production. So the part that Ola Verde does is really trying to do consumer education by model, by what we write, by what we talk about. We work in schools. So we're really trying to create more consumer demand so that there's more potential market for local producers who want to grow organic.
You did an amazing job building up a network of local farmers here where you get your products from, and you are doing also a kind of education, so cooking classes and so on.
Yes.
Tell us more, please.
Okay. Well, I made a foundation. We got the foundation legally recognized here in Nicaragua, so that we can actually do education. And so yes, we do cooking classes for groups, for kids, for anybody, groups, and even some individual ones. And the whole idea is that I think that if you learn to cook, you learn to take control over what goes into your mouth. And if you don't know how to cook, you really can't be fully empowered. I think it's very, very important. I want to write a book, Cook or Be Cooked. And I think that, and so that's what I really try to do here, is get people not only into the restaurant, but to get them to taste, to see where flavors come, to know what the flavors taste like when they come from natural ingredients. And then, you know, to get them into the kitchen and experimenting with what they can do. I think that's very, very powerful.
Sure. Yeah. Was it hard to find farmers here for getting products from?
Yeah. Well, at the beginning, when I started, I opened 12 years ago. So I started with the idea 13, 14 years ago. And at the time, there were a lot of NGOs working on organic production. The problem was, and I was actually hired as a consultant for some of them, they needed markets. And because I have ties in Europe and the United States, I think that they thought that I was going to find buyers in Europe and the United States. But what I concluded was we needed to build a national market. That way you facilitate small farmers' involvement in the production chain. So these NGOs had farmers, and I started with those. I started with the ones that the NGOs had been bringing up. And then, of course, over the years, some of them fell out and other ones came in, and you get to know more and more people got to know the same.
Yeah.
That's how we started.
But there's not a lot of support from the government, I guess.
For organic production, I think they're starting to think about it. I guess they have other priorities.
Yeah. Okay. But certification is a problem.
I think certification is a big problem. Certification costs between $3,000 and $5,000 here, and I was just in Costa Rica and talked with the certifying people there, the people who actually do it, and it costs $500 there. And it's interesting because Costa Rica generally is way more expensive than Nicaragua, so their certification is only $500. And I think that if we could get some help, you know, get the certification to be done at a much more reasonable price, because the farmer, the small farmer, having to pay the cost of the certification doesn't seem quite fair to me, because there's a lot of beneficiaries: the consumer, the restaurants, even the tourism industry. If you have a lot of organic production, you're going to have tourists come to the country because of the quality of the food. So it seems to me that there are a lot of beneficiaries, and maybe the cost of certification could be shared in some way.
So, but the business here is growing. You have a lot of space here for a lot of people.
Yes.
And you are thinking about to buy this building and to make the shop a little bit bigger.
Yes.
And so you are in future plans. You are thinking to grow.
I think it's really important, you know. I think if I'm squirreled away on a little side street, well, actually when I opened for the first 8 years, I was on a little tiny side street, hard to find, and I did that a little bit on purpose because I didn't know how this was going to go. I didn't want to go out on a main street and say, here I am. But, you know, as it grew, it seemed to me important that we have visibility like the fast food places have visibility. It seemed like this green wave, you know, should be visible and it should look successful. And I think that success breeds success. And so people then, they maybe wouldn't poo-poo it and say, well, that's just this marginal thing. They would start to say, oh, this looks like this green wave thing is working. So that was part of my strategy and continues to be part of my strategy. You have to really make it attractive, you know, so you have to do that.
Sure. And I think you are the right person because you are very convincing and you're a real pioneer here in the market.
A pioneer.
Yes. So we wish you good luck for your business and hope to come back in a few years and see how it developed.